Welcome to my channel, Iraqi Dinar Hub, your destination for IQD, VND, and ZIM updates. In a sudden yet pivotal move, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has mandated an immediate reassessment of Iraq's dinar exchange rate, stirring significant activity in global currency markets. Verified through sources within the Prime Minister's economic advisory team, this bold initiative is Iraq's most aggressive currency policy action since the 2021 devaluation. For IQD holders, especially in the U.S., this is more than mere policy up. It represents a pivotal moment in Iraq's financial resurgence. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, is anticipated to react promptly, and analysts are now evaluating whether this could precede a comprehensive revaluation. Al-Sudani's urgency appears to be driven by rising domestic inflation and international calls stressed toward the dinar's authentic value. This shift aligns with Iraq's robust economic fundamentals: soaring oil revenues, expanding reserves, and U.S.-supported financial reforms are further building the case for a corrected currency rate. Officials within the finance ministry suggest this realignment will better reflect Iraq's current economic power. Economic advisor Dr. Sabah al-Amami emphasized that Iraq's foreign currency reserves exceed $110 billion, indicating strong monetary stability. The country's partnership with the IMF and World Bank continues to grow, encouraging confidence in future currency shifts. These elements are fueling pressure to discard the artificially deflated exchange rate and allow the IQD to operate more freely in global markets. This evaluation may very well be the final internal mechanism needed before introducing a modernized revaluation policy. Currency traders reacted almost instantly to the announcement. Across international Forex markets, there was a surge in interest, with U.S. financial platforms seeing a marked rise in IQD-related search trends. Early analysis indicates that some institutional investors are already adjusting portfolio allocations in preparation for a potential revaluation in Q3 2025. U.S.-based wealth firms in New York and Texas have discreetly contacted Forex desks to revise IQD-related strategies. Though IQD is still not universally traded on major exchanges, signs are mounting that rate changes may be near. Confidential documents from Middle Eastern banks suggest readiness for transactional updates should the CBI proceed. Analysts expect a gradual, controlled rate shift, reducing chaos and reinforcing investor confidence. Interestingly, this timing mirrors monetary developments in Vietnam and Zimbabwe, both of which are also moving toward currency stabilization. Vietnam has been internationalizing the dong, VND, supported by over $130 billion in reserves. Zimbabwe's gold-backed ZiG has tempered domestic inflation and revived investor interest. These countries, like Iraq, are natural resource-rich and seeking to reclaim currency autonomy while reducing USD reliance. According to the London School of Economics, Iraq appears to be synchronizing with these efforts, part of a broader global trend toward monetary sovereignty. For U.S. investors with holdings in IQD, VND, and CWL, this synchronization offers a rare moment of strategic opportunity. With appropriate timing and sound financial guidance, cross-currency gains may be achievable. Domestically, Iraqis are reacting with cautious optimism. Years of economic instability, price inflation, and a flawed banking system have driven public demand for currency reform. Al-Area and Baghdad today report growing civic pressure urging quick action. Trade unions and academic groups are amplifying this momentum via social media. A poll by the Baghdad Center for Research and Strategic Studies found 64% of Iraqis now advocate immediate rate revision. Al-Sudani's government is clearly responding to both economic metrics and collective public desire for financial dignity. The CBI is now front and center, tasked with delivering on this high-stakes directive. Top CBI officials confirmed that a specialized task force has been formed to review currency valuation mechanics, capital flows, and Forex exposure. Governor Al-Muazzin Al-Alik is conducting daily strategy sessions, aiming to deliver stable, scalable recommendations. These will involve more than just adjusting the rate. They'll overhaul digital infrastructure, liquidity management, and international SWIFT compatibility. Cooperation with regional banks is already underway to minimize market disruption. This signals a sophisticated, data-centric revaluation approach that's appealing to institutional investors. Meanwhile, insider movements in U.S. financial institutions add further validation. A compliance officer at a major East Coast bank disclosed internal bulletins on potential protocol adjustments related to Middle Eastern currencies. Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America have enhanced their foreign currency monitoring, with specific attention to Iraq. Independent audits reveal a sharp rise in IQD, VND, and ZWL inquiries between April and June 2025. While retail-level services remain restricted, certain offshore desks are preparing for increased volume, possibly driven by a managed float or hybrid valuation regime from Iraq. If implemented, such a move would allow Iraq to price energy contracts in its own currency, a regional economic milestone. A robust IQD could also attract FDI from Gulf nations seeking safer, asset-backed projects. Analysts at Fitch Ratings and Oxford Economics see this as a signal that other undervalued, commodity-heavy nations might soon reevaluate their own currency policies. The impact would be far-reaching. The IQD could shift from speculative status to a respected emerging market currency, altering global investor behavior. Yet risks remain: political disputes over fiscal decentralization, security instability in the north, and black market currency flows all pose challenges. Also, IMF and World Bank involvement brings policy constraints that could slow execution. Smuggling and cash hoarding complicate control over monetary supply, and without transparency, speculators could distort the market. Investors must stay grounded, relying on concrete data over online rumors. Past cases offer useful comparisons. Vietnam's long game focus on GDP growth and inflation control created lasting progress. Zimbabwe's gold-backed ZiG reintroduced currency stability amid past chaos. These countries highlight that successful revaluation requires more than policy, it needs public trust and institutional resilience. Analysts propose Iraq could combine both strategies: Vietnam's patience and Zimbabwe's asset-based backing. This hybrid model may give Iraq the edge it needs for a credible, impactful revaluation. Already, U.S. investor behavior is shifting to reflect this possibility. Search trends show spikes in queries like IQD revaluation 2025 and where to exchange Iraqi Dinar in the U.S. Platforms like Reddit, X, and YouTube are seeing a resurgence in IQD conversations. Financial advisors across Florida, California, and Texas are fielding increasing client questions, and many are beginning to draft preliminary revaluation plans. This growing curiosity suggests a rising belief that al-Sudani's leadership may catalyze a true currency turnaround. His broader economic reform strategy, known as the Reconstruction and Sovereignty Package, seeks to diversify Iraq's economy and reduce oil dependence. Recent laws have promoted foreign investment, streamlined trade, and digitized payment systems. These aren't cosmetic changes, they're structural prerequisites for a viable revaluation. Iraq's inclusion in global AML frameworks has further enhanced its credibility. These moves show that the suppressed IQD rate is outdated and unreflective of the nation's real financial condition. That gives investors legitimate confidence in the sustainability of any forthcoming rate change. Meanwhile, signals from banking institutions hint at quiet preparations. A Middle East-based executive for a U.S. bank disclosed internal simulations testing exchange rates between $3.50 and $5 per IQD. Canadian banks operating in Dubai are reportedly updating back-end systems for dinar integration, a task typically reserved for imminent rate adjustments. Though no bank has gone public, such operational cues suggest deep institutional engagement. This underscores that al-Sudani's directive is not mere rhetoric, it is spurring tangible change within global banking infrastructure. As Q4 2025 approaches, analysts envision several plausible outcomes depending on CBI's efficiency and political follow-through. The most likely scenario is a managed float introduced by November, where the IQD gains value incrementally in line with oil income and reserve benchmarks. If political and public confidence remains strong, A one-time revaluation could occur before year-end, delivering a major value boost. Experts from JP Morgan and Eurasia Group favor a tiered appreciation model to maintain market stability. Regardless of method, investors in IQD, VND, and ZWL could benefit from synchronized currency gains. Multinational wealth firms are increasingly advocating a diversified strategy, allocating holdings across all three currencies to hedge against timing disparities. For U.S. investors, understanding tight protocols and redemption procedures is key to capitalizing on potential gains. Documentation and legal compliance will be critical post-revaluation. Investors are advised to organize records, retain proof of purchase, and consult professionals before any transactions. Tax consequences, including capital gains and estate considerations, should be mapped out in advance. Proactive planning reduces risks and ensures legitimate financial outcomes. On a regional level, Iraq's monetary repositioning is capturing interest from neighbors like Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and the UAE. Saudi energy traders are reportedly exploring partial IQD-based deals, and the Emirates have strengthened bilateral financial agreements. This may open the door to digital settlements and broader monetary collaboration. Although some compare IQD dynamics to crypto volatility, experts caution against such parallels. The dinar is state-backed, tied to real assets and sovereign reserves, unlike decentralized digital tokens. Iraq's fiscal reforms aim to institutionalize transparency, making the IQD's case stronger than many speculative instruments. A key consequence of revaluation will be the reduced demand for USD in Iraq. This could rebalance regional trade and ease anti-corruption enforcement by simplifying transactions in local currency. U.S. policymakers, including Treasury and the Fed, will monitor this closely due to its implications on dollar liquidity and bond markets. For investors, structured redemption will be critical. Major U.S. banks may require appointments, KYC updates, and paperwork to ensure regulatory compliance. Higher exchange rates might be offered for verified holdings under specific terms, including NDAs or reinvestment agreements. Understanding these structures in advance ensures smoother execution. Public discourse around revaluation is intensifying, and so is misinformation. Fake redemption offers and insider deals are proliferating across social platforms. Al-Sudanese administration has urged reliance on verified channels to CBI, Ministry of Finance, and licensed financial institutions. Skepticism and caution remain the best defenses. The IMF and World Bank have continued to back Iraq's reforms, with IMF staff reportedly aiding in valuation modeling. This endorsement adds a layer of legitimacy and assures markets that change is rooted in strategy, not populism. For investors, this signals long-term viability rather than short-term hype. One logistical barrier is the sheer quantity of IQD in circulation, much of it outside formal banking channels. The CBI has been addressing this through targeted buyback programs and new identification rules on large purchases. Since early 2024, domestic note volume has dropped by 18%. A trend expected to continue with digital incentives. Success in curbing currency excess would give Iraq a cleaner base for revaluation, a crucial metric for foreign banks. Central to investor curiosity is whether the rate change will be immediate or staggered. Two models are under review, a one-time correction to $1.54, or a phased increase tied to benchmarks and IMF guidance. Each approach has merits. Sudden revaluation attracts rapid investment but could strain financial systems. Gradual adjustment builds stability but may deter high-risk investors. Either way, success will hinge on transparent policy, system readiness, and investor communication. Among the most debated issues is the rumored contract rate at an elevated exchange rate offered to select groups. While unconfirmed officially, leaked internal emails and anecdotal accounts suggest some banks are preparing for tiered exchange offers. Investors should treat such claims with caution and prioritize verified protocols. Zimbabwe's ZIG revaluation employed similar tiered structures, distinguishing between note types and volumes. Iraq may adopt a comparable system, potentially influencing redemption timing and strategy. Meanwhile, Vietnam continues its quiet march toward VND's strength. enhancing its appeal to strategic investors. Recent VND reforms include interest rate control, inflation targeting, and expanded Forex operations. U.S. institutions have begun accumulating VND via Singapore, signaling rising confidence. Together with IQD, the VND forms a compelling dual-currency portfolio. Zimbabwe's ZiG recovery offers key lessons. Central bank autonomy, currency backing, and investor education matter. Iraq, with greater resources and international backing, is poised to emulate this success provided it maintains transparency and discipline. Currency investing isn't just about holding notes, it's about readiness. U.S. Holders must plan for redemption logistics, choosing appropriate banks, ensuring tax compliance, and documenting everything. Wealth planning, trusts, and legal reviews are increasingly recommended for large holdings. Preparing now, before revaluation hits, maximizes both profit and peace of mind. Investors should track real-time signals like CBI's July report and al-Sudani's August speech. Bank memo leaks, IMF validations, and rising FX liquidity are also key indicators. Monitoring these data points will cut through noise and help investors make informed decisions. Scams are escalating. Investors must resist emotional decisions and verify all claims, avoid VIP deals and rely only on authorized financial professionals. This journey is about strategy, not speed. As Iraq enters toward a new financial identity, those informed, cautious, and compliant will be best positioned to benefit. Al-Sudani's rate review order represents a seismic shift in Iraq's financial path. With rising global interest, strong public support, and credible banking movement, the next chapter of the IQD story is unfolding. Investors who navigate it with diligence and discernment could find themselves at the forefront of a historic economic transformation. Thanks for watching Iraqi Dinar Cuba, your trusted source for detailed IQD, VND, and ZWL insights. If this analysis helped you understand the shifting currency landscape, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you stay updated as events unfold. As global currency realignments accelerate, preparation and knowledge will be your strongest assets. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting your journey, staying informed with verified, credible information will set you apart. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. We value every perspective. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay strategic, and stay ahead with Iraqi Dinar Hub, where currency meets clarity.